I like it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, man, it makes total sense. It's crazy because these LiDAR companies like VLDR or FRSX, I mean, FRSX isn't quite a LiDAR company, but they're the same premise, Microvision. They're like lagging behind the rest of the industry, the electric vehicle industry. And it's like, I don't understand why people are kind of grasping that without these companies, you can't have the electric vehicles drive themselves. You know, like it's a part of the equation, which is really crazy.
Similar. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was gonna. Isn't there a big deficit also in this world right now with like the processing chips, like the AMD, NVIDIA?
There is,
Intel,
yeah.
Like right now, there's like a big. So like, is that more of the metal that they're trying to mine, or is just like the demand for it? Especially like speaking of which, Bitcoin obviously hitting new all-time high today. Like I'm pretty sure 60, like just above it. I mean, I think we might. I think it's going to be at 75K, like surprisingly soon, in my opinion. But anyway, with those chips, well, another upstream way to play it in general. But what is that metal that they're mining that like that's just like another issue that we don't have enough of that metal?
Antimony?
Antimony.
I thought
it could be.
Lithium?
Lithium? It could be lithium.
Lithium, yeah. I think you're right, Max, with that.
I don't know. Lithium's pretty abundant. I don't know if they're just still not getting enough of it though.
Just demand supply. Anyway, all right. Anyway, what were you saying, Max? Though back to
we were talking about how like buying into Boeing is a recovery play. I was going to say there's actually one more step beyond that. I haven't really spent too much time digging into it, but there's a company called Spirit Aerosystems that builds the fuselage for Boeing planes.
Okay.
And so there's kind of a double play there. Maybe we could look into it here because I haven't, really dove into it yet. Because if we remember, Boeing had those 737 Maxes that were grounded, the plane that was grounded because 2 of them crashed. They're not grounded anymore. Plus, people are now taking more flights. So the Spirit Aerosystems company kind of has 2 ways to extend revenue now that those planes are being created again, and more airlines are just doing more flights.
Interesting. Is there, this was more of like a couple months ago. Have you done any hardcore looks into specific airlines? Like which one you like?
I like Southwest Airlines the best. Their debt is just by far better than anyone else. I have a buddy who works there and he's constantly telling me too about all these new cities that they're picking up because other airlines have dropped so many cities during the pandemic. And Southwest has such a good cash position, such a little debt position that I don't know the exact number, but they've picked up something like 20 locations in the last year.
Wow.
20 new airports.
I mean, we definitely don't need to name names, but it's like a pet peeve of mine when there's financial YouTubers on YouTube pitching American Airlines, because I feel they literally just Googled airline stocks and like alphabetically picked the top. Because when I was doing it, like American Airlines came into 2020 with like in an awful, like not just leverage, but leverage, like it was horrific. And that was coming into the world blowing up. So like, I don't know, like it is doing well. The whole airline industry is doing well, but man, like American specifically, and like some people have said that about Spirit, ticker symbol SAVE. I think that's a little bit different though. Like I have a sneaky suspicion that especially like people in our age demographic in America right now, we're all itching for like a budget friendly trip about now. Like we've all been cooped up for a year. So I think there's a little
Vegas.
Just something like that. Cause like the trip, it's budget friendly. People like it, like, well, I mean, it's not the most enjoyable service, but it's just like a very cheap flight trip. So I don't put that exactly in the same thing, but Southwest in terms of big airlines, that's by far my favorite. And then in terms of little airlines, JetBlue and Alaska, like also pretty solid like positions.
Spirit too, I think, has a partnership with Disney, if I'm not mistaken. So there's kind of a double play there as well.
What's the partnership
Disney's
detail?
Completely opened back up.
How do they partner?
I think that I don't remember the exact. I haven't spent too much time digging into it, but I want to say it might be like the official partner, or something like that, where they have some kind of package deal with Disney or something. We could dig into it.
That makes sense.
Doesn't Allegiant has something with that with like Vegas, I think, or maybe that's just one of their hubs is like the Vegas area, but another just like budget friendly one. Yeah. It's interesting.
But just airlines in general, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I I have a position in Southwest, and it's doing great. It's up like 60%.
Wow.
Because I bought whatever 10 months ago in the middle of the pandemic. But long term, it's like every 10, 15 years, there's something that just decimates the airline industry. So I'm just not sure if it's the greatest long-term position.
Interesting. I mean, wasn't it literally just yesterday that Boeing itself though, like did super, super well. I think Boeing, let me pull up his chart really quick. I think BA like was on an absolute tear yesterday. Yeah, it was. Boeing yesterday gained 7%, which is like obviously
it's unusual.
Very considerable
We're spoiled by these crazy meme stocks because now we don't remember what it's like to have a good day in the market.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't. I'm
that.
thinking, especially with like now the stimulus and everything. Like, I don't know. I think it's not. I think within a couple months, I'd feel very, very confident about Boeing getting back above 300. Like just with this world getting to normal.
Totally. I think airlines are a good midterm play. I don't personally know if I would hold for longer than a year. I think that'd be my cup of tea, just because I think there's other better growth stocks out there. But recovery-wise, kind of like you're saying, with COVID quarantine opening up, like we're seeing the effects start to take place now. I'm totally on board, man. I mean, the recovery play is there, definitely. 6 to 12 months, great stock, for sure.
I think the same, like it's almost the exact same thing, but the lodging industry. And I'm like, Marriott, Hilton, like they're okay stocks. They're strong stocks. Like they're not like anything absurd. But man, like, I don't know. Like I don't know if I'm like bandwagoning it with Airbnb because of the recent IPO and everything a couple months ago.
They've been crushing.
Like as a business, it's such a unique model because their overhead is so much less compared to just like owning all of that property. And like, I get it in the end, like I don't know. I just, it seems so cool to me. And I don't know. Have you looked into that? Any three of you, like the specific numbers of it? Cause like, I'm a big fan of it.
I haven't looked into the numbers, but for something like Airbnb, to me, it'd be 100% on price. Like, what's the price of the stock right now based on my decision of investing? Because, yeah, it's like such an obvious buy-in. Like you said, their expenses are so much lower than any other hotel company. But has that already been absorbed 10 times more than it should be? Would be the first thing I'd be asking myself.
Yeah, fair. I'm curious in general, like even that where we were a year ago, 2 years ago of like looking at the fundamentals, PE and all that. I'm curious now, and like we saw it a little bit with Tesla, and now we're seeing it to the max with AMC of GME of like, is the future of day trading, swing trading, and investing more of like a narrative-based thing rather than like a true running fundamentals? Because like that was always the big argument of Tesla, of like people who hated it. They're like, well, it's only profitable because of regulatory credits. Their numbers suck, blah, blah, blah. They shouldn't be the biggest. And then everyone of the proponent, like everyone supporting it of like where I was, it was like, no, look where it's going. So it's like,
right. It's like you're investing based on the potential for growth down the road.
Yeah. Like so much of it was like, let's look at the trailing 4-8 quarters and maybe do predictions for the future quarter. We're going to base our investments on that. And Tesla, it ran from whatever, like the S&P 500 when it was added there from like 400 to 900 of the concept of no, it will dominate EV 5 years down the road. And I'm just curious now, like AMC, GME, it's a different narrative, but it's almost like, I feel like narrative-based investing could become like more of a commonplace thing after this.
Oh, dude, I'm 100% on board with that. 100%. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Max.
I was just going to say, I agree too, but I question, is that just going to be the thing for 2-3 years? And because I think long-term earnings will win. What produces cash, spitting out cash into your account. But in the short term, like you said, narrative-based, story-based investing, where you want to just get behind this movement. I mean, we're seeing it. The hype is driving everything right now. I think if I were to guess, of course, you might as well flip a coin. But if I were to guess, I think we'll continue to see things hype up, and then there's going to be some kind of correction where either companies are going under that were so hyped up because of the narrative-based investing, and then the strong will survive, and necessarily the strong are going to be the ones who are producing cash and producing earnings because they're going to have the ability to survive. There's only so much capital that can be injected into companies when all companies are down. So I think there's kind of a combination there.
That's why I thought Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, his whole concept of that Buzz ETF of like just the social sentiment one, it's a unique idea. I mean, it didn't have the best start. I think it's been trading now for a week and a half. And
I
like,
got listed at a bad time.
yeah, it's like right now back up at its high. So like hasn't had that big of a range. But more so what surprises me is like, I mean, he's another guy like Elon that like certain people understand the psychology of the internet so well. And I think Dave Portnoy is one of those people. He just plays the game well. Like he knows
Right.
how to spin everything like in a favorable manner, which is cool. But what surprised me is he launches it, BUZZ, that ETF. And I think the volume's been super low, like which, you know, the volume on Friday was 1.27 million and it's a $25 thing. And then
Wow.
AMC's
That's
like, I get
crazy.
it's half the cost, but like the volume was 111 million. I'm just
Right.
like,
Yeah,
what?
it doesn't
Like,
add up.
I just thought it would generate, but I do in general like the concept of like this social sentiment. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Like you said, Max, it could be here for like 1 or 2 years, and then like we go back to like a more common type of investing.
There's
You
a
know-
classic. Sorry, go ahead.
You can go ahead. I'll say it after you're done.
There was just a quote from Benjamin Graham, value investor, Warren Buffett's mentor. He says, in the short run, the stock market is a voting machine based, popularity contest. In the long run, it's a weighing machine, which company, produces the most value. And I think that's going to just ring true long run, but I don't know how long.
You're spot on, man. I think you're not going to lose qualitative and fundamental investing by any means, but I think you are going to see an increasing in emotional investing and in social media and social aspect investing. Like now that we've got Reddit, YouTube, Discord, all these different platforms that people can connect and share a wealth of information on, right? Hey, look at the numbers on this stock. Hey, look at people sleeping on this stock, XYZ, XYZ. You're gonna have opportunities for stocks to move in ways that they never would have before because of the connections that people can make. So I think you're still going to have your fundamental meat potato companies. They're going to continue to grow. They're going to hold true. But the volatility of the market is what I'm interested to see, because I think you're going to see huge swings for stocks that you would not have seen 20 years ago. Like from what I've heard from people who have been investing for a long, long time, the market's not supposed to move. You're not supposed to have days where stocks go 15, 20% runs for 5 days in a row. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And I think that just speaks to the age that we're in. It's the age of trading. Like more people are trading than ever before because it's so accessible. Like just think about the people our age. How many people have got onto YouTube and learned how to play options or learned how to swing trade that probably never even heard of it a year ago, And this is only going to keep adding to itself. It's just going to keep feeding into itself because COVID and quarantine has shown so many people that you don't need to have a brick and mortar location to work. You can work from home, which gives people the opportunity to do exactly what we're doing right now and talk about stocks and swing trade and do whatever they want. It's trading is picking up. I really do think that.
Are you for those meat and potato stocks though? Are you worried like a year or two out? Because I mean, like the overall market, the S&P 500 just hit like a brand new high, and anyone that doesn't agree that there's like a massive disconnection between our stock market and the economy right now. I mean, it hit a new high because like not only has the Fed been backstopping it, but now we have a brand new $1.9 trillion in the system. And like when this all started like a year ago, I tried to be a little bit more knowledgeable, and I found out, so 2008, 9, 10, that time period, the amount of stimulus put into the system was now considerably less than the quantitative easing we've been doing now. Like it's a fraction of a percent. Like it's more far less. And they tried unwinding it sometime in like the past decade. And when they did it, when they tried to take the position off the books of all the stimulus, they didn't know why, but like the market started to fall. So they just stopped and they like kicked the can down the road. They're like, the next SEC and Fed chair will figure this out. And so they just never did anything. Like it just was sitting there. And now we have like exponentially more. And I'm like, I mean, I'm no economist. I'm no like PhD like in economics or anything, but the unwinding of this and like, man, like I guess I'm thinking about it more because of like I was watching an Andre Zick video about like what's it, the long-term like death cycle, something like that, and basically a credit system only lasts for so long, and timing-wise, ours kicked off really at the end of World War II when we were like switching everything from the gold standard to the fiat currency, blah blah blah, and now everyone's getting so stoked about crypto. Of like this is it, like we don't care about the US dollar. Like, we're like speeding up money velocity. We're shoving inflation through the roof. Let's just hop over to Bitcoin/Ethereum and like call it a day. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's weird. Like right now, short to medium term, the market looks super strong. But like, I mean, we've been in a bull market with all this craziness and it's lasted since what, 2010? Like it's
Right.
That's insane. Like something has to happen. Like you just can't keep doing this.
So that's the question, right? Is that there is shaping up to be a serious narrative of what had happened 100 years ago, right? Is that we had a humongous bull market. People started buying on margin and playing with money that they, didn't belong to them, and they were afraid to lose. But then, is it different from 100 years ago with all of this coerced buying, right? That Forbes article, be it mainstream bait and switch, or be it actual like foreboding news, but the coerced buying is what happened in 2008. It's what's happening right now with AMC and GME. Not only are shorts necessitated to be bought in the future, but also the fact that the gamma squeeze is now a relatively new invention is also an effect of coerced buying. So at the end of the day, is the market just waiting to blow because of these people jumping in that don't understand exactly what's happening? Or is it because of a brand new invention that the market is trying to reel against?
Interesting.
I think the wheels on this bus are not going to fall off yet. I think it's going to take some time. I think you're right, 100%. I mean, it would take an extreme dingus to not see that the market's been on a bull run for 10 years, But I think what we saw right now was a correction. I don't think, like, you see those YouTubers out there that are like, the market's crashing now. Get out of your stocks. Like, you're done. Oh, that's not it. I think you're right, Matt, in saying that there is a crash coming. And I talk about that in my videos when I talk about the market correction, but I don't think it's yet. I don't think we have enough of a catalyst to push that over the edge. So, like, what I think about is that 2008 market crash, right? When all that BS went down. Like, it took a lot. Like, there was some pretty crazy stuff going on for a long time. Like, that was probably a 1.5 year long process. And for this to fully unwind, I think might take that long. I just don't think we're there yet. I think we need some sort of, we don't have enough substance for me to justify a crash is going to come even in this month. Maybe we'll see like a little mini correction again, but maybe that tech bubble is like a precursor to what could come down the road, if that makes sense.
Oh, I mean, I honestly think there's a good chance we have a year and a half, 2 years of still pretty like hardcore euphoria, like coming out of this. So stimulus, world opening back up, people want to go out, hang out, go to restaurants, spend money, travel. I think the market will like remain strong. If I had to bet right now, at least for the remainder of the year, for sure.
Stimulus checks are huge, man. I'm so with you on that. We should talk about this. This is big. What do you guys think about stimulus checks getting put into the market? That is such a good thing for the economy, because when I think about it, you can do two things, right? So you've got, did we talk about this in the last stream? I think we did, didn't we?
I don't know.
Talking about stimulus?
You guys remember that?
No, Max, you were talking about, you had that poll that like 50% said they would be putting some money of the stimulus in.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There was a poll on CNN, I think, that they sent it out to a few thousand people. And I think, so based on age, the younger the person, the more likely they were going to put money into the stock market. I actually did a poll on my channel too, and it lined up almost perfectly. I think like 43% of people on my poll said that they were going to put their money into stonks. And then there was like 5 people who were like, what are stonks?
I love it. But if you think about that, that's huge.
Portion. So they're estimating between $30 and $50 billion that'll be put into the market. That compared to the whole market is a drop in the bucket. We also have to remember that the total stimulus checks, that's only like $400 billion of the 1.9 billion or trillion that's going to be put into the market. So that's like a drop in the bucket compared to all the other programs. But I was actually reading the stimulus bill this morning. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Walk us through it, man.
Yeah, tell us.
Well, I mean, just economy-wise. So one thing that kind of bugs me, Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, has zero concerns about inflation at all. Every interview, she's like, not a problem. And that really worries me whenever someone's like, don't even worry about it. Not an issue, just so confident. Because that just, when you're that confident, you don't check on things as much. Like if you're constantly worried, you have your eyes on everything. You're more likely to catch something. So she's not worried about it at all. Obviously, we have to listen to the experts, but But looking at this inflation-wise, just to give like a kind of a simplified example of how this works. So let's say you have an economy of $100, like the cash in your economy is $100, and in a healthy time, the velocity of money is 5. Basically, that money exchanges hands 5 times to get the total value of the economy, the GDP. So you got $100 times 5, the velocity, total economy size, $500. Then a pandemic happens, and that lowers the velocity of money to 2.5, let's say. So you got your $100 in cash times 2.5, total value of the economy, $250. So the government comes in and says, all right, we need to pump more cash in the system. Let's up our cash position from 100 to 200. Velocity of money stays the same, 2.5. That brings our economy size back up to $500. But then once things heal and people start spending more, that velocity of money, let's say, bumps back up to 5. So now we have $200 times 5. Total economy size is now $1,000, even though there's no additional productivity. That's where inflation is a major concern in my standpoint. Obviously, that's a simplified version of a very complex thing, but we have more cash for the same amount of value. That's inflation. They say they have tools to prevent this from happening, but it's a concern of mine.
Are you hedging that in any way? Like, are you invested in crypto, gold, anything like that?
Yeah, more and more. Even like stocks are a good stock pick's gonna be better than cash. I still have too big of a cash position. I bought like $10,000 worth of Bitcoin yesterday, but yeah, more and more trying to hedge against it and just putting it into interest earning things. But that's also the same kind of thing where we might not see the inflationary effect for 5-10 years. Inflation was actually too low before all this stimulus money got put out. So they were like, it kind of worked out.
So you're the one that pushed Bitcoin up above 60K.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I was about to say, you timed that to a freaking T, dude. You're just a stock god. Stock Jesus.
The SEC is at your door right now.
I called them because you're making some sketchy buys, man. I don't know how you're doing it, but
my timing has been impeccable recently.
Russian.
I've been following Palantir a bit, and then after our discussion, when was it? Early this week. I was looking for like a technical breakout, and I bought like late April calls on it for $30 strike, and it's already they're already doing super well. Like I think Palantir is coming back. I like it a lot. This is definitely good call of yours. I heard you talking earlier with Trey about killing it on Dropbox.
Yeah, I don't know how my calls have been like, because I never even tried to do like a short-term call on anything, but like my last 3 different times where I'm like, this is a good buy for the long term, like that same day it's jumped up. So I did a video on Dropbox yesterday, and an hour after I posted it was up like 7% or something like that. And there's people commenting
like, get into trading.
Like, of course, yeah, get into day trading. There was also, just to highlight how like crazy of times we're in right now, multiple people commenting how I said there's this company's a 30% discount right now. Multiple people commenting like, I don't care about a 30% return. That's not enough. I'm like,
we've been spoiled by AMC, man.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, AMC and GameStop.
I think people are in a rude awakening when they find out like what normal returns are after this. Like,
it's the endowment effect. It's pure and simple. It's in your brain what you have to begin with. You're never going to try to get compare that relatively. And when you think you deserve something, especially since the people who have just jumped on to GameStop and AMC as their very first stock ever, stock trading is never going to be the same ever again.
Yeah. I posted a video actually earlier today about GameStop AMC, and they were saying about like how GameStop did nothing this past week, and same with AMC. And then you look at it over the past week, GameStop's up 92%.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean did nothing?
Nobody cares. Like, GameStop is dead. Get out. It's over.
I'm like, and then I think AMC is up 36%. I'm like, companies look to do that in a year, and that's like a good year. They're like, we killed it. I'm like,
That's an amazing year. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. I'm like, it's all right. Like, I don't know. We gotta hit that reset button to like normal expectations.
Well, GameStop is from $4 up like 10,000%. Am I right? 1,000% would be it goes up to $40, and now it's close to 400. Right.
Yeah. So AMC in the past week, 38%. Past month, 92%. 3 months, 189, and year to date. So over the past 2 months, 426%.
426.
Yeah, and then GameStop's year to date is 1,300%. And the past week is 92. I'm like, definitely not dead. Like,
Yeah.
actually
You
the
suck.
opposite.
GameStop, it's over.
1,000%.
Wow.
That's
I'll be right
100
back. I'm
times
taking a
more.
drink.
All right.
Do we
That's
think
crazy.
though, is this like us just basically writing our own grave? You know, these high expectations, all these new people who only have these high expectations. Like, I feel like it only takes one big loss for a significant portion of new investors to be like, nope, I'm out, pull their money out until, you know, things are good again. And then what kind of cavalcade of events happens after that?
I think something like that could definitely happen. Like, I don't think it'll cause like a massive disruption, just because the overall retail money in the system isn't like, it's not a drop in the bucket, but it's not like the main like mover of it. But I think it's one of those things that we're always dealing in proportion. So in the past, from mid-January to now, the amount of new retail traders in the market is high. And of course, like, it's going to come down. Like, we just saw a huge up, and like, we'll keep a certain percentage. And I mean, I'm sure you guys are too, but I'm getting messages of like, didn't know anything about stocks, obviously excited about AMC and GME, but like down there just realizing like, okay, like it makes a little bit more sense of what I'm doing in my 401k. Like, I just get it more. So like, you get a certain percentage that will be like a nice sticky audience.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of timing, Stonk Cheese is master of timing. People,
It is the way of Jesus, Stock Jesus, preferably.
Stonk Jesus, for people who are worried about that bubble, right? The question might be in their head that, hey, maybe I should just exit the stock market entirely and then just come back later full force. What do you say to that for people who say that?
No.
Even though
Well, hey,
I'm
I'm devil's advocate. What do people?
Yeah.
People probably think that, right? If the stock market's dangerous, then get out and put it
Right.
into something else for now. What do you say to that?
Yeah. Even though I'm the prophet of timing, you can't time a market. I don't ever try to time anything. And like Matt said, this could very well continue for 2 more years. Before the pandemic in 2018, I was sitting there thinking the market is so hot right now. This thing's going to crash. You talk to most people, they're like, this thing's going to crash. Never crashed. So, you know, if I didn't invest any money then, I would still just be waiting 3.5, 4 years later, like, oh, this thing's going to crash any day. We just don't know timing wise. So I think it all comes down to what are you buying and why are the reasons you're buying? Because if you have solid reasoning to why you're buying, you don't really care what the market does. And you almost want it to correct because then you get to go on the buying spree.
A good example of this is meet Kevin, man. No matter whether you like the guy or you dislike the guy, you got to respect that he's freaking intelligent and he grinds like an MFer. And he timed that Tesla, like when Tesla hit that huge slump, he was rubbing his hands like this. He was like, it's time to eat on people's fear. You got to get greedy when people are scared, man. That's what market corrections are about. And when you think about the basic psychology of investing, it's so crazy because investors and traders are the only people on the planet that will buy something when it's overpriced and then sell that same thing when it's undervalued. What? You don't buy high, sell low. You just don't do that. You got to be patient. You just got to wait it out, you know? Buy dips, sell rips. That's what I say on my channel. It's the easiest way to put it. You never know if it'll keep dipping, but long term, you're going to win. You're going to win the game if you just buy dips.
If you
do the
zoom
diligence
out,
up front.
Mm-hmm. Right. You got to know what you're investing in. I shouldn't say it's that simple, but
if you're
you're investing in a good company.
Oh, sorry, guys. If you zoom out, even in the 2008 like financial crisis, and even in the 1920s like Black Friday, actual Great Depression, the market always recovers. So the stonks go up, like in a macro view, yes, the stonks do go up. And even if you are afraid of a bubble now, to be fair, I was playing devil's advocate. The main point of the stonk market now is even if it's scary, the weather that you will have to face will likely just be a small dip in the grand scheme of things.
To like really build on that, I think there's a much bigger issue going on in the world. If you invest in the market now and then like years later when you're retiring, if like you just think in general like indice growth, stock growth, there's probably way bigger issues going on if like we're just not trending in that like right way. Like, of course, if you're picking a bad company, like if it's a fraudulent company, just a poor company, that's not good. But like if you're just picking solid ETFs, solid indices, and just betting on the growth of like our economy, the world economy, I don't know, that's seems to be a winning method so far over the past 100 years.
Justin Foreman dropped this in the chat. I think this is worth saying. Instant gratification is the society we live in. Man,
Yeah,
You're true.
that's exactly it. Jeez.
people can't handle their 92% gains in 1 week of like they need more. Yeah, we definitely live in that kind of society.
GameStop's too slow. I'm getting out. I'm done. It's over.
The culture is we want what we want if we think we can have it. And that's the you can see in the microcosm of my live chat. I love everybody here. I always tell them to send me their dogs on Instagram. And then as soon as I mention that, people are like, "Oh, my dog! You haven't seen my dog? I haven't seen my dog for 2 minutes, Andrew. I need to see my dog right now on the live stream." So if people think that they can have it, they're gonna fight tooth and nail for it.
Meatball.
Did you see that?
Me?
Did you see that?
Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy. I taught him everything he knows.
Meatball.
No, I'm kidding.
So is Meat his first name and Ball his last name?
Meat is his first name. Matthew, middle name. Meat Matthew Ball. No, it's we have someone who made a Meatball Mo Money account, and now he talks to me through the live chat. So that's I think that's Meatball making accounts behind my back.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the someone updated the Melvin Capital Wikipedia and they said it was founded in 2014 by Plotkin, who named after his like wife's boyfriend?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I love
good.
that, dude. I love that. It's gold.
So good. Oh, did you? I already asked Trey before, but did you guys see that Melvin's wife post, the troll post on RGME?
No.
Okay, well this is hilarious. If you do want to pull it up, I think it's like number 1 on RGME right now. It is like a pretty much obviously fake post, but it's like, I am a wife of an investor that shorted GME, and you guys are so bad. You guys are evil for holding GME. Don't you realize you got to pull yourself up from the bootstraps? Can't you make any decent money? I have kids. You guys are gonna make us lose everything. Please stop buying GME.
Our third house.
Yeah. And it was this is a long post that's just like, you people have no morals. Like we worked hard to get to the billions of dollars where we were. From a perspective, it almost sounds real.
Oh yeah, man, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that. It's like just being a big baby. Oh no, I feel so bad for you, man. That's gold.
Yeah.
That's gold.
Hilarious.
I'm gonna see if we can get any questions here from the chat. Since we got all 4 of these intelligent ape brains, all the smooth-brained apes chilling.
Woo.
By the way, if you don't know their names, we've got the space apes, the Neanderthals, the Mo monkeys, and the gorilla gang. It's not a coincidence that we've got 4 freaking monkey-like species rocking here in the chat bar. That's for sure. Guys, by the way, we have hit 7.4 thousand in chat revenue. All money that's going towards veterans. That is freaking insane, guys. I can't believe that. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it immensely.
Good work, Trey. Good work, chat.
Yeah, we've done it, man. We've done it. It's crazy. Here's a good question coming from Michael. Long on AMC 1500 plus. How to contribute and play option strategy simultaneously. Option play to help the cause. How to help the gamma squeeze, essentially. I've covered this in the video, but let's...
Trey?
Who wants to go first?
Sorry, you cut out. What was the question?
Oh, you didn't hear me? Okay, so it's how do you contribute and play the option strategy simultaneously? How do you play options to help the cause?
Oh. So
so I actually got this. Someone the other day, like when they saw that I had options, they're like, "This in no way helps us." And I was like, I feel like that's just a big misunderstanding, because it very well could.
Right.
With options, it's just like that's what leads to gamma squeeze, and I guess it's like less discussed. We were talking about that actually when the 4 of us were talking before about like not being as tracked, and I was almost wondering, it's like in the stock market, if we do have a gamma squeeze, if people like have just maybe in the past been always calling them a short squeeze, like that was just like the generic covering name. But in general, like a high level thing, a gamma squeeze, for everyone who's like, this is the first time you're hearing it, when people are buying out of the money options, as in like, let's say AMC is trading at 11, if people are buying anything above that, 12, 13, 14, 15, if you buy a lot, as the stock goes upward, market makers are the biggest seller of options. They are the ones creating those options for sale. They have to protect the risk in their own book. So as the stock goes up, if they're going in the money, they know that those could be exercised. So then the market makers themselves have to buy shares of the stock. And obviously when you're buying shares, it's putting upward pressure. So that's a gamma squeeze. So it's just like inherently more upward pressure, but still the same as a short squeeze. that missing puzzle to both of them is the initial upward movement to start adding the pressure, and then it just snowballs.
Right. Essentially, what's cool about gamma squeezes is they can happen infinite. If you just have gamma squeezes, that call options that just keep coming in because it feeds into itself, right? FOMO kicks in. People always seem to buy when stocks are moving and not when they're consolidating. So stock just keeps moving, right? Like March 19th is an example of that with the quadruple witching. That could be one of those catalysts where the next week following, more call options come in. And the week following that, more call options come in. And if it just keeps driving up and those calls become close to in the money or in the money, they have to be hedged for, which is just going to further drive up that price action and could trigger a short squeeze, which is huge. I think once we get to that $20 mark, man, that's when the short squeeze will begin. $20.
So the main thing about the analogy here is that people might be confused about why buying a call option doesn't immediately help the price action go up. And the best analogy in terms of the snowball analogy is that the snowball is the price of the stock, and buying the stock puts snow directly onto the snowball, right? Buying action causes buying and volume causes the snowball to increase in size. Call options is putting snow on the ground in front of the snowball. The more snow that is on the ground, and it is publicly available information on a day-by-day basis, people are going to see how much extra volume the snowball is going to grow if you push the snowball towards that direction. And that's the most important part, is that if it's open information that tells people exactly how large this thing can go, and the gamma squeeze therefore has a more data than the short squeeze itself. Because when people are talking about the price predictions for the short squeeze, it's much more difficult to explain because the buying action of those short squeezes aren't predicated on any benchmarks. But a gamma squeeze is. If we're looking at the $800 call chain specifically for GameStop, we can say then, with the gamma squeeze gets triggered, that the baseline floor of GameStop is $800 and probably going to push it to $1,000 when the $800 calls become in the money. So in that sense, the snowball analogy actually works perfectly if you can think about snow on the ground as people waiting for the snowball to come pick it up.
I'm curious.
That was the most intelligent brain ape thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
That was a great analogy.
That was a good analogy.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was Hey It's Pixel's reasoning of, like, wasn't he calling for the squeeze to happen on Friday? Like, what was his what did he see go wrong of why it didn't squeeze on Friday?
Yeah, I right before showing up between showing up this morning to Trey's cast and coming back on, I had basically a 40-minute conversation with Pixel on his live stream, and I wanted to clear up a couple of things, like, we don't blame you for the price prediction. We don't blame you for the squeeze prediction, but exactly what is going to happen next week. And right now he's being incredibly careful. So the first thing that he wanted to clarify for those of you who are just joining is that the squeeze that was predicted for Thursday or Friday, one of those two dates, was predicated on the fact that the dip on Wednesday seemed like it was done by a friendly whale or perhaps a hedge fund that is a good hedge fund. Right? Institutions that are trying to play the game of GameStop so that they could get in on the action. That is not
just so everybody knows he's talking about GameStop too. This
Yes.
isn't AMC.
So AMC dipped, GameStop dipped 50% on top of its high, so from 350 to 170. Right, so that's way more than AMC. AMC just barely missed getting on the SSR list. Fell like 9.5% or something.
If I could swear, I would.
Bob Saget
Bob Saget.
GME on the other hand was firmly put on the SSR list for the next day. People were already questioning, well, why did we do that? If you guys aren't aware, getting put on the short sell restriction list means that now the hedge funds cannot try to short the stock on the downticks. If the stock is doing poorly, they don't want these kinds of hyenas coming at the wounded elephant or the wounded buffalo that is a stock doing poorly. That is a regulation put in place to kind of protect stocks that have done poorly the day before. Now, that said, when the GME was put on the SSR list, it basically was guaranteed to trade sideways unless a bunch of paper hands sold, right? That's why we always get scissors in the chat right now. Let's see some Gorilla Gang action. Scissors in the chat to cut out those paper hands. When that traded sideways, we were expecting all of the call options that were added on during that dip to cause the gamma squeeze, right? Why did someone buy a bunch of call options during the 1 hour window in which the price dipped 50%? If not either one, they wanted to see a huge opportunity and knew that a squeeze was coming, or two, that they saw that they caused the dip itself and then tried to jump on to make a bunch of money. Make a bunch of money. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And right now, I was pressing him for an answer, but he doesn't want to do any more predictions or due diligence until his existing due diligence for March 19th and the quadruple witching day comes to either fruition or incompletion. Right now, he's expecting that the squeeze will happen sometime between the next 2 weeks, which is in line with Renzel. He's also a moderator and daily due diligence writer for GME. He also thinks that it's going to happen sometime between March 15th and the end of March.
Interesting. I think people put like way too much emphasis on this SSR thing. Because like,
you think so?
Yeah. And my reasoning for it is, so when you're put on SSR, it doesn't stop people from shorting it across the board. It stops it from shorting it when it's going down.
Right.
So when we're on SSR, in the event of Thursday, Friday, if AMC or GME or both of them started squeezing, everyone was allowed to still short it. Like no hedge fund would be blocked from shorting it. So all SSR does is stop a dogpile effect.
Yes, exactly.
So like
it stops the stock from essentially drowning in itself.
Yeah,
so it can't just bleed forever.
Yeah, so in my eyes, like it's good to be on it, but then to get on it, it means you fell 10%. So that's not good. So it almost like, to me, it's like a neutral event in terms of like a potential squeeze. Because like, okay, I'm happy that they can't dogpile, but also that means we dropped 10% at some point, and I would have rather gone up 10% and then them just still been able to short. Because like in the end, if we start to squeeze, they have free reign to short it that entire time that it's happening.
I've got one counter for that though, is this. If you've got, as Andrew has said, friendly whales out there who are trying to purposely get it onto the SSR list so that it can't be dogpiled. And an example for this, I don't remember the exact day, but I'm almost certain you know what I'm talking about. AMC and GameStop both got hammered right at the beginning of the day. First 5 or 10 minutes, got put on the SSR list, and they were green the rest of the day. So what would happen if there was, hypothetically speaking, a whale or institution out there that was like, let's put this on SSR so that the next 2 days, this can't be dogpiled on. This can't bleed down to Kingdom Come, and we can just at least consolidate or maybe even grow a little bit. Because, yes, it doesn't take away shorting, but you can only short on the upticks. So you can't just, like, beat down the stock with 2 clubs and watch it, bleed real bad. What do you think? Do you think that's a strategy that would help?
So far, well, I'll speak and then everyone else can kind of give us their thoughts, is that right now, not everybody believes that there are friendly whales out there, right? Not everyone believes that there is actually, like, it's almost like a fairy tale if you think about it, right? Like, why would someone be fighting on our behalf? And we can only try to justify that by saying, well, they're just fighting on their own behalf, right? They're trying to make a big buck right now, and that has nothing to do with us. So it is, at that point in time, one of the biggest questions of, it seems like purposeful SSR movement. Putting us on the SSR, when Pixel was on the live chat on my channel, he reacted what am I trying to say? Like, he acted like, wow, this actually happened right here when we saw GME price dip immediately below the price it needed to put on the SSR list and immediately recover. Like, that's a little too suspicious. So in that sense, that's not evidence, but it is too suspicious to exist in a vacuum twice in a row.
What freaked me out is that AMC just missed it. They hit 9.5%, like 9.54, and then it recovered. And it was up that day, like 5% or something, wasn't it?
Wait, hang on. I'm confused. So the day that, like, at 12:15 when they both sold off.
Right.
So GameStop the day before had closed at 246.
Right.
And then that low the next day was at 172. That's not just barely 10%. That's 30%. It's just over 30%. So, like, I guess I think SSR is something that, like, is spoken about in Reddit. And, like, I think we're, like, it's one thing, I guess, in my mind, like, I just don't see it. That's so extreme. Like, if you had that much money to do it, why wouldn't they shove that money in the long side and just start a squeeze normally?
So let's put some DD out here and make some things clear. The SSR, like, barely touched the SSR was on Thursday, not on Wednesday. So that was the beginning of the market on Thursday, putting it on SSR list for Friday. Now for Wednesday, that theory currently is that when you dip the price enough, you can buy a bunch of out of the money calls with the price being much lower, and that got a bunch of people to pile on to the call option chain.
Gotcha. So potentially an option just to, and since it's leveraged and they don't move linearly, I mean, I guess I could see that, but then you would almost wonder if they're doing that even to cause the initial sell-off, if they are like a quote unquote friendly whale, that initial push had to be like a money losing play for them. And I'm assuming they're going to make it back. Like they hope to make it back on the upswing if it comes back. But interesting. So basically, I remember when this was all happening on Wednesday, there was that post thing about 60,000 new call options for Friday. So they all expired worthless. So whether it's a friendly whale or not, it didn't play out for them on Friday.
Exactly. And that's something I kept making clear. That's like, okay, well, if we were expecting something to happen today, or at the very least get us to the next threshold, right? Like get us above 300 so that all of those options don't expire worthless. That didn't happen. 250 was a great benchmark, let's be clear, right? GME is not performing in the most bullish of predictions, but it is still bullish. So that aside, this Friday was a bust for any call option that had a strike price higher than 260 and change.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone throwing out like the exact dates and that stuff, like you might be on, but like it's so hard to put a price on a date. Like that's just like, if someone did that, they would be the richest person in the world. Like if you could call it that perfectly,
I would just hesitate to, man. That's sketchy. That's sketchy. I don't mean to. I think it honestly, and this maybe sounds bad, I think it discredits people a little bit to give a hard date.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like we all know there's no way to know. There's no way to know an exact date. And anybody that's telling you a hard date is just BSing you. Like we can look at the exact numbers and like we can set up boxes. Like we can say, hey, on this day, if these things happen, there's potential for stuff to happen. Like we've got a crap ton of call options that could potentially expire in the money they need to be hedged for, could push the ball forward, But to say that this is the last day, this is the day everything's going to happen, it's going to hit $2,000, whatever, right? I mean, like, you're just going to lose people that way. You are. I mean, I'm not with it. I'd rather just give people short-term things that they can look forward to. Like, hey, we know that sometime this week we should expect, X amount of call options to expire in the money. Or this is our short interest we have right now. This is how much volume we've got. Just keep people engaged and interested, and then they'll be more inclined to play it instead of being like, well, you told us this date and it didn't happen, so now I'm just going to leave because you lied to me,
Yes. That's the biggest problem with how anxious I was when Pixel came on and made a hard prediction. And I'm like, the biggest problem with making that hard prediction on Thursday was that your prediction that you made 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago is still on for next week. So if you're going to discredit yourself right now, that's going to make a bunch of people really scared for next week. Not to say that he discredited himself, but to make it clear that making a hard prediction on live stream was likely, a poorly thought out decision.
Max, you look like you need a cookie.
No, I'm just soaking it all in.
I think people in the chat were saying you're eating a cookie. Do you have one?
Oh, I ate a little, what is this called? Cereal bar? I don't know, like a Fig Newton thing. I haven't eaten breakfast yet, sorry. Sometimes
there you go, man. I haven't eaten either.
Yeah, just take a pull of the Kraken instead of breakfast.
Pull the Kraken, come on.
Yeah, man. I did a 3K likes. I did. I always do every stream to give a good toast.
They do it super early on you just to like.
Oh, yeah. It's never too early, man. It's never too early. That's all good. We got a couple of really big donations I want to recognize. Jewel Silly Chicken. I love that name. Dropped $200.
Wow.
Retraced their message, though. So retracted it. I don't know what she said, but I appreciate that. It's going to some good cause. Then Timothy Pope dropped 100. Says, thanks to all of you for the veterans. I was Air Force in the 80s. Thank you for the service, Timothy. And then we got 4-star strength. And this is kind of referring to all of us. You guys rock and have annoyed my wife to hell with me listening. From a veteran, Trey, this is awesome. Send for these attendees and tell Amanda to hodl. Who is Amanda? Oh, is Amanda your wife? I'm assuming. Yeah, you better not. Hey, Amanda, you don't do that stuff to my man. You got to take care of him.
Not financial advice.
Take care of him. It's good. Not financial advice, though, of course.
Someone says that Trey needs to be sponsored by Kraken. I need to be sponsored by Maybelline. Andrew needs to be sponsored by Chewy. And Matt needs to be sponsored by IKEA.
Yes. Come on, get that IKEA sponsorship. Let's go.
Dude, I'd kill. That'd be nuts. That'd be nuts.
That's awesome. I love that. So we did a custom trivia game. I'm sorry for like a 30-second tangent. We did a custom trivia game where everyone had like a specific question that if they answered, they wouldn't get any points for. And mine was, what is like a Smucker's Uncrustable? And it's because I like Smucker's Uncrustables for like years, so I go home from work and eat a Smucker's Uncrustable. So I'm surprised. Chewy makes sense for meatball, but I'm like, I was surprised. I was like, my question here is a Smucker's Uncrustables kind of question.
This is the way.
To try to get us the algorithm to be on our side, let's talk about NFTs real quick. People were talking about it in the chat. NFTs, what do you guys think? It's pretty hot. Selling
non-fungible.
pictures. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know enough about NFTs to have an opinion. But if you guys can give me an opinion to form off of, I'll let you know.
They're obviously really hot right now. The question is it going to stay at that level, or is there going to be some kind of cutoff? If we look at basically anything ever, there's a dip. So, how high is this going to go before there's a dip? I'm not really sure. But it might turn into, some kind of, classic tulip craze. That happened back in the 1700s or whatever.
Tell us about tulips.
So, I kind of understand the basic premise of this. It's like you're paying for custom-made channel art, right? Like a one-of-a-kind channel art, essentially.
You're paying for the ownership.
Yeah, it's higher level than that trade. It, like Max just said, it's almost digital ownership. So it doesn't have to be art. Like they're trying to use it. I think you could use it for music. It's just like a digital ledger of sorts. Really, it's like a super high level thing.
And it's a way to like support creators, essentially.
One avenue for it. I mean, didn't who was it? Logan Paul that made like a Pokemon card, and then he sold like the portions of it and like made millions of dollars. And then NFT, the record just broke this past weekend. An NFT sold for like 69 million is like the value of it.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Somebody paid $69 million for an NFT.
Yeah, there's an artist named WeBull who is like known for creating a piece of digital art every day for like 5,000 days. It's been like 13 and a half years. And he made this like collage of his first 5,000 pieces of art and sold that as an NFT for $69 million.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool for sure. But like I was reading some of the use cases and there's some technical like barriers to get over. But like in the future, there's a good chance, say like in real estate, instead of like going through the banks and that, like it would all be like the ownership of the house is like an NFT that gets transferred from owner to owner to owner. So there is a lot of use to it, but just from talking to some of my friends in software, like they're all some considerable technical hurdles to still get over to make it like widespread and adopted fully.
So Matt, how does this have to, so since this is about ownership, I have a question about how does this relate to smart contracts? And two, if art has subjective value, how can this be about value? How can this be about scarcity?
Well, it's about scarcity because in NFT, just by its like definition, there's only one. So like Bitcoin isn't, because like, or a US dollar isn't. Like one US dollar is worth the value of another one. These NFTs, there is one of a kind. So it would represent this piece of art, this song, this house. So that's like the non-fungible part. What was the other part of your question?
About ownership. So how does this have to relate with like smart contracts and other things that have to do with blockchain?
Well, I thought smart contract is more so, that's like the Ethereum versus Ethereum 2.0 part, right? Like, isn't that the differentiator?
Right. But how does this have to relate with NFTs in terms of ownership?
Well, like the ownership is just like who has that NFT, or like I think in like Logan Paul's case, he sold off like all the little parts of it, like 1,000 or 10,000. So you just like own that. And like, I guess in terms of value, well, it is subjective, but like, I guess so is the stock's value. Like we pay for it, what we think it's worth. And like, if a lot of people are just going to buy it up, it goes higher and higher.
Like, you're totally right. I don't think that's a valid argument either, because not what you're saying. I agree with you. I agree with you because like something's just worth what people think it's worth. It's the same as paper. I mean, money is only worth something because we think it's worth something.
Yeah, and then like the art thing makes it even more complicated. Like, what's the value of the song? Well, at a certain point, you could argue, well, hang on, it gets this many views, I can sell ads on it. But in the end, it's still like, do you think people like the song or not? Like why does the Mona Lisa have any value? I mean, I don't know, because people perceive it to have value.
Somebody commented this. I was wondering if we wanted to address this. NFT is just rocketing because it's new. It's stupid. As soon as the normies get involved in speculators, it will crash, like Bitcoin last time. But my response to that is look at Bitcoin now. I don't feel like that's a valid answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll go up and crash and go up and crash.
That's the way things work. There's trends and everything.
There's plenty of use cases for it right now. We're obviously in a real hot period where more and more people are learning what this is. But it makes sense that it's a thing. Should it have this much heat behind it? I'm not really sure. I mean, maybe it's just a time coming for digital artists who create this art and then it just gets ripped off and screenshotted, everywhere. So it's definitely important to be able to verify the ownership of something digital, but where it heads from here is anyone's guess.
All right, I have to thank Caden. He dropped $500 in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
GameStop has made me a millionaire, and I'm not selling anytime soon. This donation amount is my target price for next week.
Oh,
yes. 500
dude. 500. That's nuts. That's the biggest super chat I've ever gotten in my life. All going to the Women Warriors Project and veterans. We are $8.3 thousand right now, and I am donating $100 for every 1,000, which means that we are sitting at, I'm not good at math, but I think that's $9.1 thousand.
Woo!
Not bad.
So close.
They're saying for the biggest chat in chat, they're saying because that's the biggest super chat that you should take another shot, Trey.
Let's go, Trey.
Work on that Kraken sponsorship. Yeah.
All right. For $500,
I only drink on the weekend. Well, let's all get something going. Max,
night I was hanging in both the Discords that I'm in. I'm part of the.
I suppose.
All right, Max, you grab something. I'll grab something. Here.
Make it happen.
While I'm gone, this is I would like an NFT. This is made by my girlfriend. This is a little meatball painting right here.
That's awesome. Make it an NFT.
Sick.
Yeah, I would rather own NFT than real art. I think that's pretty cool. Like, just in general.
So my business partner that I work with for my back end of things, transactions for the channel. We've been talking about NFTs, and I just don't know what I would do. Like, what kind of art do I have to offer for an NFT? It kind of. What do you think?
One thing I think you could do. Yeah, so I was thinking about it, and there's so many other things I need to get figured out first. But the way I thought of it was okay, that picture that someone gave you, of you hitting the ground like the Superman down. So what I think you could do is well, you could print it out, put it on your back wall, of all your streams, make
Honestly,
it there.
I don't know, I haven't yet.
Yeah, so print it out, and then you could sell off so many certain percentage of it. Say everyone is worth 100th, and we sell off 100, so they feel that they're part owners of that and the show, just something like that. That's one way, but it's you can do so much. It's a very high level general thing, and I don't know.
I haven't even thought of that. Wow.
Steve Aoki just made one or two or something, and they sold them. NBA Top Shop's going crazy with their digital moments. You're the owner of a dunk, of a dunk that happened in time. It's insanely high level. You could do a ton of things.
I really like that fan art that was made for me. The one that's my profile picture on YouTube, dude. That's got to be one of my top favorites. Either that or the one where it's me sitting on the desk and I'm sitting back laughing. It's got my microphone drawn up, my mugs, my speakers, my computer. That was just, it's just crazy how talented some people are.
You've got the best fan art, God to Stonk Jesus to heart. It's the best. Oh,
it's insane. People are telling me to check my P.O. box. So I tried checking my mail. I know that I've got some whiskey glasses coming in the mail from somebody that made me some. But I stopped by and they shut down early. Bunch of silly chickens screwing me out of my rightful. I appreciate you guys sending me mail though. I promise you, I do open it. I do my best to check it all out. So thank you.
All right, Trey.
With a P.O. box, might be a crazy question, but do you have to buy a certain size and it has to match the size of the packages, or those store packages?
They just put slips in, and then you gotta ask. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get one because people are saying it, and that art that you just got, Max, was crazy. I don't know, I need to do something.
Dude, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Wait, show it again, Max.
I'm at my house. That's at my office.
Oh, good.
Unfortunately.
Well, cheers to you, Trey. Thank you for doing this live stream.
Yeah, man. Cheers to you guys, the 4 HODLmen, and to Caden for $500 for the veterans.
Oh, good that's stuff. Smooth.
Bottoms up.
That tasted like candy.
All right,
Crack
team.
Tastes like not candy.
I have actually to hop on actually a business call. So 3 p.m. Eastern for me. I need to hop up, but congrats, Trey. This is a huge success. Good talking to you, Max. Andrew, guys, don't forget, drop a like, help this with the algorithm, get it out to more people. If you're in this situation that you can, drop a super chat. He is matching it. This is an awesome, awesome cause. This was great. I will catch all you guys up soon. I mean, a lot of people like the four of us just chatting around, so I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Dude, we'll keep on keeping on, man. I appreciate you stopping in. You're a real one. You're a real one for sure.
See you, Matt.
Right, have a good one, team.
Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it, brother. All right, and then there were three HODLmen.
Three HODLmen.
We've got the Neanderthals, the Mo monkeys, and the gorillas.
Woo, woo,
For the
woo.
gang.
Let's get going.
Rock on. Good stuff. So, what are we coming up to next? What do we want to chat about? Do we want to stay on this NFTs topic, or do we want to come over to AMC, GameStop, any stocks that you guys are researching?
Yeah,
any
we can talk.
entrepreneurship stuff?
We can talk more NFTs. Are you pretty well versed in it, Andrew?
I only understand it from the blockchain point of view. So like exactly what the part of the ownership is and what the kind of scarcity is. That's why I wanted to kind of like didactically ask Matt. I didn't mean to put him on the spot. But generally, when you think about non-fungible, that actually adds another layer to the equation, because for Bitcoin and other like actually backed tokens, we are looking at two main factors, right? One, the actual technology itself of the scarcity of how finite the amount of Bitcoin can actually be ever, and then the perception of Bitcoin, right? Being able to take Bitcoin, or even now, I guess, Dogecoin, go to an ATM and actually get it out of an ATM, be able to pay for your Tesla with it, be able to pay for Apple transaction with it, and if it actually goes through an Apple, and then you can use your iPhone and your Apple Wallet to pay for almost anything in Bitcoin, that would be huge. So that is why institutional coins is a different factor than whether or not a coin is fungible or not. So those are two main metrics that you would have to consider when it comes down to whether or not an investment is either safe or whether or not it has growth potential.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a safe investment, I don't know if NFT is what a top of the list.
No, man, it's the move. It's the move. It's both NFTs and Doge, baby. Doge to the moon.
Doge to
Those
the
are the
moon.
ones.
100% of your portfolio.
I heard someone in the chat
That's
say
it.
that Doge is on a rip right now. Is that true? Let me see.
I don't think I can look up Doge on WeBull, but I'll take a peek. A peeky wiki, as everybody always says. I don't know where the F everybody gets that, but
Is that like
all my
Teletubbies
live
or
streams
something?
now, I have no idea, man. I have no idea.
Oh,
But
shoot, it
every
is
single video now. People say, "Can you take a peeky wiki at this? Can you take a peeky wiki at that?" It just makes me chuckle. I don't know where they're getting it, but
Okay, so on the day since the 12th, today's the
up
13th, right?
9%.
Yeah, it's up from 5 cents and a half to 6, almost 6. Yeah, so 6 cents now. Up half a cent on the day. Which
It's
is
not having a bad little day, yeah.
Yeah. So I was always considering
is-
buying
Well,
Dogecoin
that's,
at
what,
69.
30,
If I did,
30% up.
Wow,
Dogecoin
this thing is
$1.
ripping.
So the problem with Dogecoin is that, once again, it'll never be finite. It'll always be whatever the person issuing the coin deems should be the actual volume of Dogecoin. And at the end of that day, that means that this is a centralized coin, if anything, right? It may be on the blockchain, but it certainly isn't decentralized in the idea that one person or one body controls how much Dogecoin there actually exists.
The fungibility, it's just an interesting concept too. Just the word fungible, it just seems odd, but
Fungible.
I don't know if fungibility is even a word.
Yeah, fungus.
But fungible, I guess, for those who aren't aware, like something that is fungible is exchangeable for the exact same thing. Cash is fungible. Gold is fungible. Water, any kind of commodity is fungible. Water, corn, anything that you could trade one for
Fungible
one.
just making me feel weird, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that word.
what is lunchable?
Anything you can trade one for one is fungible. But then if anything isn't like exactly the same as another, like I even gave an example where, let's say you have the exact same car, make, model, year. That's not fungible, not exactly fungible for the exact same make, model, and year, because there might be some slight defect in one or something like that. So the fact that these tokens, the non-fungible tokens, now this word doesn't even sound like a word anymore, means by definition there is no other thing exactly alike, obviously increases the value. And like I said earlier, I think it's just an important thing to have. What value it should have, I have no idea though.
be honest, man. I think Dogecoin, if you want to play Dogecoin, it is just a good opportunity for a quick money grab. That is all that I would play it for. I play for a quick money grab, and it definitely gives you that opportunity a lot, all the time. You know what I mean? The charts, what they'll do, they go through these patterns of periods of just flatness, doing nothing, sitting around 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents. And it was a bleed from way, way higher. Well, now all of a sudden it's ripping. It's up to 6 cents. And that's an opportunity for you to make a quick money grab. Get in, get out, get in, get out. I mean, if you want to hold it long term, you can, but it's going to be volatile. You're going to have to hold your stomach to make me puke if I had to watch that for that long. I'll tell you that right now.
Hold your stomach, make me puke. I like that.
That'd make me throw up, man. I don't like watching myself lose money. Who likes that? You know, even if it's just paper losses. Because Dogecoin, as crazy as this is to say, I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Dogecoin is going to be a stock that continues to grow year over year, solely for the reason that it has enough sentimental value that people are going to buy into the stock. It sounds crazy, but that's literally it. Dogecoin in and of itself is absolutely freaking worthless. But people just love it. They love it. They love it. And that's why it's worth something, because it's got the sentimental value. So because of that, it's going to continue to grow, which is insane. I mean, you got Daddy Elon, baby. You got Daddy Elon tweeting about it. And that's all it takes, because that man is the Lord and Savior of the entire economy, apparently. That's all it takes for people to like that stock. So the opportunity to make money is there.
Trey, I think you need to take another poll. This is getting really interesting.
No, I'm just heated about this topic, man. It's a funny topic.
We just got the Dogecoin lovers out of the chat. Scissors for those guys.
No. There's nothing wrong with Dogecoin lovers. You guys do you. And you make money. You'll make money on it. I just think it's a worthless stock. I just don't get it. It's an opportunity to make money. It is 100%. You want to make money there? You can do it without a doubt.
Speaking of making money, I have comments on my channel that says that I talk too much about GME. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of my expertise is in. But I am trying to learn more about AMC. So in that sense, let's do an AMC GME quick review. Trey, you're the expert. You're the godfather of AMC. What do you think people should know about AMC moving forward to Monday?
Most important things for Monday. What are we thinking? I'll tell you this. Stimulus checks are going to be absolutely huge. I think with 3 people in here, I'll be able to share my screen a little bit better. So if I can draw this up, I'm going to do that, if that's cool with you guys.
Of course.
I have Microsoft Whiteboard, and I like to dabble a little bit with Microsoft Whiteboard. So we're going to pull this up. So, big things, stimulus checks. And why is this important? So what did you say the number was for the amount of people between like age 18 and 30 max for who were going to put money into the stock market? Do you remember?
The exact percentage, I'm not sure, but it was close to 50%.
50%. Man, you know what the total number was? They were getting stimulus checks.
But 180 million people are eligible for stimulus payments.
And that's
so let's say 90 million.
Sorry?
90 million then. So should we just say 90 million then? Half of 180, 90 million.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So if you got 90 million people that are getting stimmies, right? Just like this, stimmies.
I got a stimmy right now.
Uh-oh, now we're demonetized. Now we're demonetized.
I'm just kidding.
I love it. So 90 million people getting a stimulus check worth $1,400, right? That's how much it's worth, if I'm correct, Max?
Yeah,
I'm not
also
getting that, sadly.
every single dependent, and also you get $1,400.
Oh, true. We'll assume the worst. We're going to assume worst case scenario that everybody's getting $1,400, because I'd rather be let down, or I'd rather be wrong than be let down. So $1,400 for 90 million people, right? Let's assume that 10%, only 10% of these people are going to put money into AMC. That would come out to 9 million people. Now let's just assume even more than this, right? Let's assume that out of those 9 million people, they're only going to put $100 into AMC or GameStop, right? So 10% of the people investing in the market, if we have that half of 180 million being correct, right? 10% of that would be 9 million. They only put $100 in AMC or GameStop out of that $1,400 stimulus check. Just assuming the absolute worst, that would come out to, I'm not good at math, but I'm going to do it on my calculator just to make sure. I know I should know this. Everybody in the chat's going to say I'm stupid. That's okay. You can do that. $900 million. $900 million worth of stock that would be bought for AMC. Now, how much is $900 million worth of stock? Well, divide that by the current stock price. That give you an idea. But that is a huge, huge, huge factor.
That's like
900 million
10% of
divided
the
by-
market cap.
Yeah, that's 81.8 million in total volume off of just that alone. Now get this as well. This is only one piece of the pie. I mean, what I said was that 10% of the total stimulus check money, it would come into AMC, which I think is honestly maybe a little bit of a liberal assessment. However, if we were to look at this, right, and say, okay, well, how about the rest of that 90%? So you've got, let me come back and check what this number looks like. I always forget to do this. So $1,400 times 90 million is a crap ton of money. Let's just say that they're all investing $100 in. So 90 million times $100 would come out to, I think, $9 billion. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
So $9 billion out of that. So if you've got $9 billion and you've already just cut off, what was the total dollar sign here? Looks like 900 million. So let's just call that 8.1 billion. $8.1 billion getting pushed into the market. You know what that's going to do? That is going to create an insane push for the NASDAQ and the market as a whole. It would be crazy greed. And you know what that does is it encourages people to buy, because there is nothing that sucks more. Let me just ask you this. Do you want to buy in a stock that's going like this? Or do you want to buy in a stock that's going like this? You want to buy a stock that's not moving that much, right? This is obviously the right answer.
I don't
People
know.
are afraid they're going to get the rug pulled out from underneath them if you've got a stock that's just ripping and dipping over and over and over, which is why people won't buy into AMC if you've got a bad red day in the market. It sounds backwards, but it's the truth. And this is what you're looking for. A good day in the market would give you this picture, and that's exactly what we want. So if you have $8.1 billion potential, and that's only if we have $100 of that $1,400 stimulus check pumping into the market, $8.1 billion pumping in, that is going to be a green day. Green days force green days on other stocks, right? So if the NASDAQ is green, I'm telling you, that is going to affect AMC to a T. That's what I'm excited about. I'm really excited about that stimulus check. Only downside, this is a con. Con is some of these guys are not going to have their stimulus check in the account by Monday, right? But that would come into effect, throughout the rest of the week. So when everybody gets their checks, you're going to have it come in at different times. But overall, you're going to see that money flow into the market if what we saw in the polls is true. Correct me if you feel I'm wrong at all, Max. Feel free to add.
About 50% of people will receive, 50 to 60% will receive it electronically. And those people will receive it within about 10 or so business days of Thursday when it got signed in. Then after that, we have
the majority
paper check.
Majority.
Yeah, so that might affect it a little bit where, every single day more and more people are receiving it. It's not like one day, boom, $100 billion into bank accounts. So that might piecemeal it a little bit each day. As far as buying into AMC or anything like that.
So that's one caveat. As a market sizing endeavor, I always try to put major caveats in there. So some pros to your analysis already is that, one, we've already started to break down the amount of money, right? We're only taking $100 out of the $1,400. One. We're also already taking into account the number of people who said that they wanted to actually invest into the account based on an open poll. Right. So that is a caveat there. We've already done that part of the math. We're not assuming that everybody's going to invest $100 into the market, but taking that poll into account, well, it's probably going to be a little bit of self-selection bias. And the people that are answering this poll for a major stock marketing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So that's one more caveat. The next one is the fact that people that are ending up with that money might not be buying the stocks that we mainly care about, which is AMC and GME. And that is one of the things that we consider for that much money, $8 billion over the course spread over across a week, seeing how they might not even have an account to buy stocks with. Maybe they have to clear it or they have to fund their accounts. That's going to be a couple of days delay. And then finally, when we consider the support for GME and AMC, we always get chilies in the chat for my live chat when we ask them, if you get your stimmy, are you going to put it directly into AMC or GME? And we get a lot of chilies, right? So that's a good confirmation bias right there for the number of people who are watching this stream who are also going to invest their stimulus check into the AMC and GME. However, that is an important bias to consider.
Yeah, the poll that I saw said that between $30 and $50 billion will go into the stock markets as a result of stimulus checks. So, we could say...
So even my estimate was low. $9 billion is a really low estimate.
Right, but is all that going into AMC?
Right, no, probably not.
Let's say 1% of that's going into AMC, $30 billion, that's $300 million.
That's still a lot. That's a lot of money, man. That's a crap ton.
Yeah.
300 million divided by a stock price of $11.
Or is that's about 3% of the company's market cap?
That's 27.2 million total shares. That's, yeah, about 10% of the market cap. A little less. And that's if 1% gets put in.
Right.
But what I think about is this. The majority of people between the age of 18 and 30, the young people, the millennials, the Gen X, whatever the heck they call these different people nowadays, I can't keep up with that crap. A lot of those guys are paying attention to the AMC GameStop movement. A lot of people investing in the stock market right now got in because of the AMC GameStop movement. I think it's got a lot of attention. Maybe not so much in volume right now, right? Because the volume's pretty flat on AMC. But eyes on, it's got a lot of freaking eyes on right now, man. I feel like the FOMO factor. I saw it in the chat bar, anyone that's wondering. FOMO means fear of missing out. The FOMO factor will be real if this thing starts running. And maybe it'll be like 2%, 3%, who knows? Even if 3%, you know, a really liberal estimate of the total market volume that comes in from these stimulus checks gets pushed into AMC. Or if it would be a win. It would even be a win if it got pushed into GameStop. Because if it gets put into GameStop, AMC always follows suit. When GameStop starts ripping, AMC does the exact same freaking thing. You know what I'm saying? So either way, it's a win. They feed into each other. It's a feedback loop, you know?
And that gets me to the end result of the question first, right? Is that people think like, oh, if you don't support AMC or GME all the way, then you're a shill for the other side, right? No, we always see that these two ride in tandem. Either is it because they're in the same ETFs or they're the same people investing in it. Doesn't really matter, right? We're on the same side here. When one rips and actually goes to the moon, you can bet your tuchus that half of them are going to take their earnings from that moon and put it directly into the other one. Like, this is just pure and simple. The squeeze potential for both of them is humongous, and if one of them wins, the other one will definitely win as well.
Guys, so I was told by some people here in the chat that Stock Markets with Bruce put out a video talking about AMC. I think some of them want us to watch it.
Okay.
Let's watch it.
You guys want to?
People said that he rips AMC the very first second, so I've been wanting to watch that too.
When I had him on, it didn't sound like he was against AMC.
I didn't think so either. I had him on, and he discussed AMC with me as well. I'm guessing it's this one, 38 minutes ago.
One day, Stock Markets with Bruce might be on my channel if he ever responds to me.
All right. We don't need to listen to that ad. We'll wait till the ad's over.
YouTube TV.
Wow, they're really getting their money's worth on this ad.
I know. All right, can you guys hear this?
No.
There we go.
Max, can you hear that?
No, I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No, it's probably an OBS thing.
Oh, they can hear it on the live stream, I think. Shoot, so that's pretty useless. Let me see. Yeah, because it's picking up audio. Yeah, that looks goofy. That looks real goofy. Is there a way that I can share audio with you guys? Oh, but no, it might end up pulling up to you guys then. So how about what we do is we just watch this video. Can you guys watch it on your screens? And then we just come back and just chat about it. Is that a thing?
Sure.
I mean, I can just play it on the live stream. It'll just be...
Yeah, that would work. It'll just be lagged.
10 seconds delay or whatever.
Right.
Well, what you can also try to do, Trey, is take off your headphones. Restream will take out the echo with whatever software it has.
It does?
Yes.
I'm trusting you, man.
Yeah.
If this sounds like someone put my voice through a meat grinder, I'm coming after you.
I always listen.
Played.
I always listen to you with my headphones off. I'm not wearing any right now.
Gotcha. Okay, let me try that.
Oh, that messed me up when I was streaming with Bruce, actually. It was echoing me on his side.
Uh-oh. Okay, well,
So
it works for me. Can't guarantee if it works for everyone.
We shall see.
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget.
What's he doing?
I'm
Getting
the
more
tech guy.
cracking?
What did you say, Max?
Is he getting more cracking?
Yes. Pull the Kraken. I think one of these
this board
days,
is gonna be too far away.
when we get the HODLmen together next time, we should have a cosplay day. People want to see Trey's Naruto cosplay, Kakashi cosplay. They want to see my meatball cosplay too.
No.
Since we have Meatball in the chat, let me grab my cat.
Oh,
Show everyone.
oh man! In the meeting of the mascots, meeting of the minds, the actual brains behind the operation. Well, I think I'm the only person that's mic'd in here. So what's going on, you guys? Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to care about the troops. If you do, go ahead. That every single dollar goes into those troops. And let's get some scissors in the chat, just for fun. Let's get some scissors in the chat. Cut out those paper hands from your life. AMC, GME, we are on the same team. Let's get going.
This is Ender, everyone.
Ender. Oh my
Ender
God.
Wiggins.
Ender. How old is your cat?
Come on.
He's 2.
Oh.
Just turned 2.
So young.
Yeah.
Oh. Ender, and did you name it after a certain book?
Yeah. Named after Ender Wiggins.
All right.
That's awesome. But that's such a good name for a cat.
From
I love that
Ender's
book.
Game. He's tweaking out a little bit. All right, he's gone.
That's such a good book. Love Ender's Game.
Yeah, it is.
Did you like the movie?
Not that much. It was just such a good book that it's hard to hit that status with the movie.
I think my expectations for the movie for child actors was very low, and that's why I liked it.
Guys, is there any echo? Does it sound like it's echoing on the live stream? I guess we should wait and see.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
All right. Then we will start this video up and let me know if you can hear it. Let's wait. Hold on. Here we go.
AMC is
Yes.
saying that rent will rise significantly as a result of deferred obligations. And AMC was offering a 21.9% of leased and partnership international theaters as of March 5 with limited seating. AMC says if attendance increases as expected, liquidity will comply with covenants through March 2022. So AMC will survive as a company, but they will not be making a lot of money as a company. Going forward. They're going to be paying a lot of whatever cash they bring in is going to their bankers who worked out a deal with these guys to survive the pandemic. They're going to be restricted to 20 to 40 to 60% capacity in many markets. And that, is just going to keep them down from making a ton of cash. I mean, that's just how it is. And so if you're thinking that AMC is just going to become a cash cow and just run to the moon, not going to happen. They can't charge you $100 a seat for a theater because you're not going to pay it. They can only charge you for the seat that they've charged you in the past, and now you might be obligated to wear a mask in the theater, except when you're chomping your popcorn. It's not going to be the same experience that you're used to, and so welcome to the new world. It's going to be, somewhat yucky, but that's what it is. And they can't open up 2,500 new theaters next week because that doesn't work that way. And movies aren't coming out from Hollywood every week, 20 a week. I mean, that's not going to happen. The studios are going to feed out movies as they can get the audience to the new movies. This is all has been throttled down. The whole movie business is throttled down. Cruising won't start till next year, I don't think. And so cruise lines aren't going to be at full capacity either for a long time. This is just expect this, and it'll be the online world where there'll be unlimited upside. Is the online world, and that's where we talk about. Oh, I don't know, GameStop. We talk about GameStop. We talk about other online marketers and e-commerce companies that are doing well. The stay-at-home economy companies are going to do very well. We are 10 years down the road now for the stay-at-home economy. We are 10 years ahead of where we're supposed to be from a year ago. Because a year ago, we were still commuting to our jobs. At least a lot of you were. I was here talking about cruise ship holidays. The commuting was being done, and people were listening to.
Does anybody know if that's all that we're supposed to have? Is it just the beginning of the video talking about AMC?
Well, I think people are really tackling the idea that he said AMC not going to make nata money.
Yeah, I think that's all that we need to watch from that. I that's enough of my fill for that. Let me put my headphones back on. But hopefully everybody was able to hear that. I think they were.
I'm not sure if the first 2 minutes had a lot of info in it.
No, keep playing.
Well, no. I'm not saying to keep playing, but like in the sense that this is a bearish sentiment. Like everyone knew you're gonna have to put on a mask in the theater. You think you were gonna have to you're gonna sit there. Not 6 feet away from a crowded, basically an airplane amount of distance away from people. Like this is the end result of a pretty surprising earnings report that ended up being positive. But at the end of the day, having people like change their expectations of how movie theaters will work for the rest of the year, or at the very least until everyone gets their vaccines. Seemingly, there's going to be a vaccine for every adult by May, as of the announcements that I heard on news this morning. But like that said, right, May is still 2 months away. 4th of July is still 4 months away. So as of this quarter, AMC has to deal with the realities of what there is, and that doesn't mean it's bearish. It just means that everyone changes their expectation.
Yeah, man, I think you're spot on the money, man. I mean, I don't think there's a single person out there, and if you feel like you have anything to say, Max, feel free to step in. There's not a single person out there that got into AMC because they're expecting it to be a cash cow. You know, we all know where they're at. We know that it's a COVID quarantine play. We know that we're getting into it for a future recovery play. No one's expecting them to come back to full capacity within 3 months and be like, yep, you guys, we expect you to pull in $200 million in revenue this year or this quarter or whatever it might be. Like, we're not expecting that. We understand. Like, that's just a baseline fundamental. Like, you don't need to be a freaking genius to see that quarantine is going to take some time to actually get out of. Like, we're not there yet. We're beginning. But that's not where we're in AMC, right? I mean, what's wrong with that video? And I have no disrespect for Uncle Bruce, but I think he's not doing enough DD on AMC. I don't think he is, personally. I think he's just stuck on GameStop. But anyways, he's not taking into consideration the AMC Amazon acquisition, that there's a lot of actual signs pointing in the direction that this could actually happen. I mean, that 500 million share dilution, which everybody was freaking out about, right? The one that we're getting voted on, as we came to the conclusion of, could be a sign that, hey, 500 million share dilution could be a way for a company to have more shares available so that a company such as Amazon, if they wanted to acquire them, could purchase enough to have a major stake in the company for voting rights, right? There's that. You've got investors from both AMC and Amazon that bought in between 2 days of each other. 5 different companies that did that, right? That's just one piece of the puzzle. You've got that. There's the sentiment. There's more that goes into things than just the financial breakdown or the spreadsheets on a company. And Max, you know that better than anybody. You know, that's a piece of the puzzle. That's not everything. There's potential for growth. There's sentiment. There's qualitative and fundamental analysis. There's potential for growth in VR, AR, streaming services. That's just such a bad DD. That was terrible. Honestly, it kind of frustrates me. I'm a little annoyed by that.
I mean, we also have to just remember it's one person's opinion. You can have an opinion against literally any stock. You can make an argument against any stock. Even right. The company that I'm most bullish on right now, Palantir, I give 5 reasons why there's risks to this company. There's arguments against, jumping it. It's just, are the arguments against it worth, not jumping in as investment? That's what you have to ask yourself, I suppose.
100%, man. I mean, if you want to point out the negatives on every single stock, feel free to do so. But why are you even long then? You know what I mean? Like, you could look at Tesla, which is like the powerhouse freaking stock of the United States. Like, it's just been a bullish rampage. And then look at their P/E ratio and be like, why is this stock worth $800? I mean, obviously there are things that play into stock price that's more than just one factor. You can't do that. You can't cherry pick. That was cherry picking to a T, to my opinion.
Oh, and
I mean, it's just one person's opinion is all. So,
Yeah, right.
It's good to have opinions all across the board because, I would rather, if I'm looking deep into an investment, I'd rather everyone tell me what's their opinion against that. So then I can weigh those opinions and be like, well, does that merit not jumping in or not? Like, I want to hear everything against an investment I'm looking at hopping into.
Show me why I'm wrong, essentially. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I totally stand by that for sure. I stand by that for sure. I think it's important to just ask questions, ask questions. Don't just believe what you hear, because there'll be times when like I find a hit piece about a stock that I like what's an example for me? SOS. I was actually really bullish on SOS before I found out they're pretty likely a fraudulent company. And then, a hit piece comes out, get a new opinion, a challenge of why you think you're right? And if you challenge it, you do some research, you think about it, and turns out you're wrong, have the pride to admit you were wrong and get the heck out, That's just be careful. Make sure you ask questions. Ask why. Why is this wrong? Why am I wrong? Right? Just because they say something, like Max said, it's an opinion. You have to do that research for yourself.
And I don't want to out my mod, but he is. I'm gonna say that one of my moderators is very, very bullish on GME, but he honestly thinks that AMC is the longer play, right? Because at the end of the day, the economy opens up. And guess what? One of these two companies is going to be in a very different place, because GameStop You could have played video games at home. It didn't change exactly like the pandemic opening up or not. But movie theaters have just been closed, or at the very least has been restricted in its capacity in a completely crippling way. And when the pandemic eases up, one of these two companies is going to be a different spot. Now that said, it doesn't change anything with the research that we did about the squeeze potential and the gamma squeeze, the short squeeze potential and the gamma squeeze potential. Those two things are still in play. But when it comes to actual valuation, the fundamentals, AMC seems to be the longer term play here.
I would agree, man. I mean, I think the only thing that I prefer over GameStop long term is the e-commerce thing. Like Bruce made a point about that in some of his videos, his live streams I've watched. I actually agree with that. I agree that the e-commerce side of GameStop, if they end up renovating that way and going from a brick and mortar to e-commerce, is a really great business plan. Something that AMC could do. They could potentially do that with streaming services, right? But the fundamental value of a movie theater is going to the movie theater, So that's like the one thing that I prefer over GameStop over AMC. But there's so many other factors that play into both stocks that you can't just cherry pick, You got to look at the whole picture. So you're spot on, Andrew.
Yeah.
100%. For sure.
I mean, bottom line, I think if one wins, the other's going to win. So
100%, yeah.
Why pit them against each other?
Apes together. Strong. You know what it is.
Apes together strong.
What it is. And you're so spot on, Max. I mean, it doesn't need to be an us or them sort of thing. I mean, if GameStop squeezes, the odds of AMC squeezing, like 99%, and then vice versa. If AMC starts moving, GameStop will do the same thing. And if they don't, what'll happen is the next week, the one that didn't squeeze is probably going to squeeze because everyone's going to take their profits and move into the other one. That's my hypothesis, but I just don't see a lose here. I don't. I got so heated on that, guys.
No, it's good to see your passion.
You got to tell me to shut up. I'm sorry.
He's got passion.
Yeah.
How about now people are asking for one more now.
Yeah, right. Godpill dropped $100. Holy Toledo. I wish you streamers would be a bit more diamond-handed. YOLO everything you got into AMC and GameStop only. This is partly the people coming together, partly the Fed stopping the prices on both and creating themselves a hedge against society. Businesses are irrelevant. Be a bit more diamond-handed and YOLO everything you got into AMC and GameStop.
Well,
I love the God Pill. The God Pill comes in. He sends
the man.
He sends two 100 supers, and it's because he has a message that's too long, so he has to send two $100 supers to send the whole message.
Oh, really?
That's a power move,
dude. What a guy! What a guy! Man, I'll be honest. I've thought about it, but we'll see. I've had this conversation with a couple different people, and I'll let you guys know what I end up doing. I'm gonna keep it quiet for now.
So at the end of the day, when you're thinking about this as a play for certain people, and I saw that in my chat, I see it in your chat too, people are looking at AMC and GME as a way to make rent next month, right? Some people are looking at AMC and GME as a way to come out of a bad financial situation. Some people. And now they're looking at Quadruple Witching Day this entire week as the final chance, AMC, GME, make my day. And we talked about how some people are suffering from the endowment effect, right? Prospect theory makes it so that you are always going to be risk averse. You're always going to think of a cost as a loss, whereas you should be thinking of costs as equal weight to rewards. So that's the whole point of a cost benefit analysis. However, people don't think that way, right? If you told me a week ago that I was going to gain 20,000 subs, I would be like, okay, but if I lose 5,000 subs today, that would be devastating to me. That's the difference between a guaranteed loss as well as a possible loss. So people right now are thinking about that question. There is going to be a possible reward when the squeeze actually happens. There's going to be a possible reward if the squeeze doesn't happen and the stock keeps trending upward. However, the intention, the perspective, is that we are trying to get rich or come out of our financial situation, and people are getting annoyed and frustrated, impatient. So people are already asking me, when is the best time to sell? Like, how do I get out of here? And unfortunately, right now, that is going to be the attitude all week leading up to Quadruple Witching Day, where we are going to have to meet our maker and see exactly what's going to happen.
It is a valid question, though, right? Like what is the exit strategy?
That's important, and we've talked about it a little bit. But I feel like every single live stream we talk about AMC, we should at least mention it to some extent. I'll tell you my hypothesis. I know Andrew follows a pretty similar guideline. You let me know what you think, Max. We can just get three different perspectives. These are opinions. It's not the answer. You guys do what you want to do. I'll tell you what I plan on doing. My plan is to watch for a push over $20. There is going to be no true squeeze until we get over $20. The squeeze will begin when we are in new territory. So you're thinking way too small. Like, squeezes are not gains of 50%. Squeezes are gains of hundreds to thousands of percents. You're moving literally dollars per minute. That's what a squeeze does. Like, when we had that mini run from $5 up to 25, that was like a mini squeeze. That's not even to the full potential of what could actually happen. Like Volkswagen, look up Volkswagen squeeze. That's all you need to know. So once we get over $20, you're going to know that the game has begun. The ball has started rolling. From there, it's about watching the price action. So how violent is the price action? How quick are you moving? Because the quicker you move, the more you get back on the flip side, right? Too much, too fast works both ways. So go up too much, you're going to go down a little bit too much, right? So from there, I'm going to sell on the way down. And I know that Andrew has the same hypothesis, the same reasoning. And you got to get this in the back of your mind. To sell on the peak, tippy top of this huge run-up is only going to happen for probably 10 to 20 people. 10 to 20 people are going to time that tip top to the maximum potential. Because if you think about it, when you sell, somebody has to buy, right? Which means that there's going to be a finite amount of people that can sell at the tippy top. So get that out of your head. Get that expectation off of the map, and you won't be let down, and sell it on the way down. That's what I'm going to do, right? This is not financial advice, but then you know that you're not going to be leaving something on the table. So if you sell on the way up, you're going to be like, if you sell $100 and it goes up to 500, you're going to be like, wow, I just missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime. But if you sell it at 450 after it hit 500, you get what I'm saying, right? So I would much rather sell it on the way down than on the way up, because then you know that you're not missing out on squeeze, but it is 100% up to you guys. That's my hypothesis. That's my plan. You guys say what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly good strategy. The only thing I question is, would your strategy be the same if you were like all in on AMC? Like, I'm concerned for the people who are like, my retirement is on AMC. Would your suggestion change a little bit for those people?
For people who have financial money sitting on this that they can't afford to lose, to be honest with you, I would probably urge that you you sell when you have to, right? We don't want you to go bankrupt. So if there's a situation where you like your dollar cost average is higher than the current price, right? You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. If you're playing with money that you can't afford to lose, which we've talked about the entire time, please make sure that you are taking care of yourself, feeding yourself, keeping the roof over your head, paying your bills, the whole 9 yards, right? But if you have to get that money, take profits when you have to. But just know that, and I'm not trying to be rude in any sort of way, but the squeeze depends on apes all agreeing and holding and diamond handing the crap out of this thing. Seriously. That's what it comes down to. And I'm not trying to cherry coat this at all. I'm going to say this legit, just how it is, right? If you decided to YOLO your life savings into this, that was your decision. That was your decision. And you're responsible for that. I'm not, he's not, right? That was your decision, and we've disclosed that from the beginning. So knowing the game and knowing what's going on, it's going to take every single person deciding, hey, we're going to hold this until this happens. That's when the squeeze happens. And if people fall out, it changes the game. And maybe that sounds rude, man. Maybe that sounds bad. I'm not telling people what to do, because it's up to you 100%, but I'm just telling you what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. Does that make sense? Was that a ramble? I know I always ramble, man.
That was a strong statement.
Terrible.
That was a strong statement.
Terrible.
When there has been exit strategies that have been, and chats, I already see nobody wants to hear exit strategies, but when it comes down to have the question of, don't play with money that you aren't afraid to lose all of it, but if you have already done it and now you're in a different situation, how about this? Take part of that money that you are actually not afraid to lose, and then keep that diamond. Right? This is not financial advice, but if you imagine however much that is, 50%, even 30%, keep it diamond no matter what, and then follow Trey and my advice that you sell from the top downward. The rest of the money, set price goals. Don't do it automatically, right? Don't do trailing stop losses. Don't do take profits either. Like, just sell when you get to a number that you would be happy with. Sell like a portion of it. Like, if that is specifically money that you have already gambled with that you weren't ready to lose, then sell on the way up. Now, that said, you are going to mess up the prisoner's dilemma for everyone else on the way, because everybody is trying to hold. Everybody would love to sell, especially those of you who are millionaires already because of GME. Right? You obviously want to ensure that. Who needs that much money? If you can become a millionaire versus becoming like 100 millionaire, right? Who needs more money if it can guarantee you a solid life for the rest of your life? That's the biggest question that you have to ask yourself. If you've already been playing with money you aren't afraid to lose, then stay diamond. If you have already played with money that you are afraid to lose, then keep the portion that you aren't afraid to lose, Diamond, and do whatever you need to with the rest.
Fair enough.
I think something that's interesting to talk about is what is the ceiling for AMC, right? And we briefly started talking about this, Max, but I'm going to cover this with the actual original Reddit writer, the DD of the $2,000 theory for AMC. And I'm telling you, it's insane. It sounds insane, but the math, I was looking at that article and I was thinking, I want to find a reason why this is wrong. And I read it like 3 times. And I thought, where is the mistake here? And I couldn't find it. So we're going to walk through that tomorrow. I'm going to have a live stream with the guy who wrote that DD of the $2,000 price target on AMC. We're going to give you the reasons why. That's not a saying it's going to happen. It's an opinion, right? But the base factual information that he put together on why he thinks there's going to be a $2,000 price target on that. So, Andrew, solid point. Max, man, I feel like that was good things that we had to say for sure.
Well, I mean, by definition, if there's a squeeze, the price can be infinite. Yeah. So $2,000, $10,000, they're all possible within the context of a squeeze.
Exactly, man.
It looks like people are saying that Big Dawes TV is in your chat. He has 7.5 million subs and he's bullish on AMC.
You want to join in?
I have no idea. On the call. I have no idea if that's true or what's happening.
Dude, yeah, I've seen him in here. I threw him some love. I don't want to interrupt anybody.
Come on, join on in.
Big Dawes, if you want to join, man, I'll shoot you a link. You just got to send me your email. Actually, I'll send you mine. Here we go, man. This is my business email. Please do not spam it. I get people that have sent me nudes on this. Please don't do that.
What? Now you're getting more for sure.
Oh, you know what?
At least one from me.
Two people.
Man, that's okay. From Stock Jesus. I mean, how can you reject a dude from Jesus?
Yes, that's
Life is okay. Life goes on.
Excusez-moi. Sorry, guys.
All right. That's my email, though. If you see that, man, Big AMC guy. Yeah, Big Dawes TV says Big AMC guy. That's my email right there, man. If you want to check it out, you can send me an email. We'll throw you on if you're down. Rides with the apes. We got a fellow gorilla in the chat, man. That's sick.
When I give out my email, I think people have sent me raps that they have written to my theme music. I have yet to read them, but 2 independent people sent me raps. Completely different people, and I have yet to read them. I have to do it soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten one.
That's sick. Yeah. Big Dawes TV says he's naked, so he can't.
Fair enough.
That's not a good excuse. Shorts and options are naked all the time.
I do it in my email, so he's protecting my eyes. That's good.
Shorts and options are naked all the time. That's not a good excuse at all.
Right.
That's true.
So here's an interesting counter argument from the God Pill. He says, Trey, I respectfully disagree with your exit strategy. I'll be posting about my 100K YOLO Monday and exit strategies. The price doesn't crash, and the big baller options players will buy your stock for any dollar you apes can imagine. So I think what he's saying is that the price just isn't going to come down. What do you guys think of that as a potential?
No. I mean, I don't want to go against the God Pill, but I do want to read his DD. If the price won't come down, what is keeping it up there, right? We've already talked about the forces that will coerce buying, but when the shorts are covered, that's going to be it. That's so let's reverse engineer, right? The end of the peak of GME or AMC is when the shorts are all covered. When they have all covered, that is the highest the GME can possibly go, because guess what? There's no more coerced buying to be done. No one's gonna buy it at that price because people are just looking at that delicious price to sell, right? So let's Meatball, please. I know selling is the word. It's a safe word.
Meatball didn't like that. No. Meatball said, "Quiet down, Mo Monkey. That's not a word we like."
The difference between like how high the price can go and whether or not it's going to stay there is all of that coerced buying. And now let's reverse engineer. How are we going to get to that peak before the shorts have to actually cover? Well, the shorts are going to cover when the hedgies get margin call, right? And they're only going to get margin called if the amount of money that they have liquidated all of their assets is less than the amount of money that they owe, the delta that they owe to the amount of money that they've shorted before, right? So if they can't cover their shorts, then they do have to liquidate all of their assets and then cover those shorts. This can happen to you. If you buy on margin or you short and you suddenly don't have enough money in your portfolio, the big man upstairs is going to come to you and margin call you. So this is going to happen to the hedge funds too. So now that we've reverse engineered all the way back, there is nothing keeping the price up as far as I'm understanding the situation after all of the shorts have been covered.
I mean, the only way for the price not to fall is if everyone just held after the squeeze.
Yes.
So,
but then are we even rich if none of us realize our gains?
I think the only argument that I can make is the way that stock prices go up and down is so simple. It's if you have more buyers and sellers, stock price goes up. More sellers and buyers, stock price goes down. So if you have neither, if it just consolidates, so all the shorts covered, right? They have to buy back their shares, pushes the stock price up, but nobody decides to sell. They all just continue to hold, right? The stock price would stay there because everybody would still be holding. There wouldn't be enough selling to mess up that algorithm system that the market makers use to push the stock price around, right? So it's hypothetically possible that you would have the stock hit $2,000 and not tank. But the problem is you're banking on people not being greedy and saying, that's enough for me. I've got my cash. I'm out. You know what I mean? Like that's the flaw in the hypothesis. So I guess I'm not sure.
Yes, it's a prisoner's dilemma all the way up. So my theory that I just said like 10 seconds ago, it was already ignoring the fact that people are going to be selling on the way up all the way to the peak. But when there's finally no more coerced buying, you can bet that there's going to be a lot of selling. The selling that the coerced buying was trying to fight against all the way up is going to ultimately have no like equal and opposite reaction pushing against it. So then boom, all the way back down. And then hopefully you catch the knife on the way back down.
Man, we have hit almost 9,000 in chat revenue. That's nuts, guys.
What happens at 10,000? Yes. Polish off that Kraken?
Yes.
Polish it off. 5
digits is a five-finger shot right there.
That's crazy. We got to do something.
Yeah, we got to do something. I'll match you, man. Let's take a shot again. But Matt, I do have a question about DTCC. DTCC steps in and FTDs happen. What's the process look like? CEO of IBKR says a wave of bankruptcy will happen. FTDs will take forever to short out. Will trading stop, etc., etc. What is DTCC going to do when the FTDs happen?
So I put together a little video on this and explained it. So essentially, the DTCC, that new SEC rule, which we are waiting approval on. By the way, not approved yet from what I've read. So if you come over to the SEC website, they tell you basically when they're expecting that to be approved. And when it is approved, it will be enacted within 10 trading days. So within 10 days after that approval, that new rule will be in effect. And essentially, you can think of it like this, right? So I'm going to come back to my old trusty Microsoft whiteboard. I love drawing up on this thing. Absolute blast. Let me find it.
I think everybody likes the whiteboard. You're a whiz.
Dude, it's a blast. I just love this. It's too easy. All right, get it ready. All right, so that should be good to go. Let me just adjust this so that it doesn't look all goofy. All right, so you've got a relationship right here, right? So you've got brokers who essentially borrow to short positions, which we're going to call hedgy. And then the last person in this relationship is tendy, or the market, right? So brokers do this. They have X amount of collateral shares for borrowing. Let's just assume that the collateral that they have available is 100 million, right? So what you got here is, let's say that you have 3 hedge funds, right? 3 hedge funds say, each of them, hey, I want to borrow 100 million shares so I can sell them into the market and destroy AMC and GameStop, right? So a broker over here sends out 100 million shares to the first hedgie, right? This guy's like, sweet, I've got my 100 million shares. I'm going to sell these into the market. This hedge fund sells 100 million shares into the market. They're gone. You're good to go. Now you got a second hedgie that does this, a third hedgie that does this, but they don't have those shares, right? They're out of their 100 million shares. So what do? Is they create another 100 million shares, right? They do it again. This is my hypothesis, and I'm going to talk about this on Sunday, but I think there's somewhere between 400 to 500 million synthetic shares, so circulating for AMC in the market. But anyways, you've got 100 million shares being sent out to hedge fund 2. We'll just call this guy Melvin. We'll call this guy Citadel. We'll call this guy Vladimir, Vlad Tenev. Anyways, they sell this into the market. 100 million here, 100 million here, 100 million here. Well, where does this come into rule with the DTCC, right? This new DTCC rule, what you had before is a 21-day failure to deliver, the FTDs, right? It gives them 21 days, trading days, by the way, which comes out to a freaking full month that they can try and get the stock price back down so they can come out profitable and return these shares to the brokers. However, DTCC rule is saying, hey, basically, we reserve the right within any period of time to basically give you the equivalent of a margin call. We can go up to you guys, hedgy, and say, hey, you do not have the collateral. You have 48 hours to essentially cover your position, or we are going to liquidate your account, and you are going to get screwed. And if they don't, bam, hedgy is going to be out that money. They're going to get closed out, and then broker essentially just has to come up with the collateral from hedgy over here and take care of that position. So it puts pressure. It slows down or speeds up this timeline, right? So instead of 21 days, it could be 1 to 2 days. You could be looking at 1 to 2 days in which these FTDs have to be closed. These failures delivers, these IOUs, synthetic shares, because that's what these are, right? If you have 100 million total short shares available that should be available for lending, but instead you've got 300 million circulating, that means 200 million of these are fake. They're phonies. They shouldn't exist. It's a bunch of garbage. It makes no sense at all. It's such absolute BS, which is why when people tell me that GameStop's the only stock that can squeeze, they're wrong. I just don't buy that, because that's not taking into account the circulating synthetic shares that are likely existing right here, which is why the DTCC has likely created this rule, because they see this happening before their eyes, and why AMC is doing a share recount, because they likely realize that as well. Long freaking explanation, but I just like getting into that as deep as I can, just so that people can understand the process.
That makes sense.
So, at the end of the day, we have forces that are not fundamental analyses that are affecting our golden boys AMC and GME. The forces at play have not changed, although they are different week to week, specifically because the gamma squeeze has not yet happened. So looking at that option chain, looking and understanding exactly what factors are relying on this gamma squeeze week to week will help educate you from the beginning. So if you haven't started your research quite yet, if you tune in on my channel or Max's or Matt's or Trey's to get all your information, we would strongly recommend making sure that you start there. Look at options and make sure you fully understand, one, what they are, and two, what the profile looks like each week, because they do get updated on a daily. So you can at least give yourself a quick 10-second look, just like when you give yourself a quick 10-second look to your credit card or your bank account or your credit score. Have that be part of your financial routine so that you can continue your financial education along with the four of us.
Too easy, man. Stock Jesus, what do you got to say? You look like you're just contemplating life.
I was just going to say, keep on learning. That's all that matters.
You know what it is, man. You know what it is.
That matters. The more you know, the more money you make. It's somehow that works.
That's a strange concept. I don't know if I believe that. You better back it up.
I don't know.
That seems like some bogus.
I believe that ignorance is bliss, right?
Ignorance is bliss, but ignorance isn't money in your bank. I think I have to head out for at least a little while. I need to eat breakfast.
Oh, man.
I haven't eaten anything.
All right, man. Yeah, I
today.
suppose you better take care of yourself.
Trey, you got an hour left, right?
If you're still
An hour
going for a
left.
while. Oh, you only have an hour long. Okay. I probably won't pop back in then. But support
cool,
the troops. Everyone, we're almost at $10,000, so make sure you donate. Even if it's $1, maybe 99 cents,
99 cents does.
Throw it in there. Every penny helps. Anyways, Stonk Jesus out.
Stonk Jesus, take it easy, brother. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Peace, Max.
See you, Max. This is the part of the party where I say I'm like 30 minutes over.
That's a nice
meeting
angle.
that I had.
That's a nice angle.
Oh, let me turn around. There we go.
No, we just want to see Meatball. Played.
Meatball.
Just played.
So I will say that, well, those of you who are listening, right, both Max, Matt, and I put our money where our mouth is. Go ahead and support the stream if you look up to the four of us. Because honestly, at the end of the day, if we can't get together and agree that supporting our troops and being, giving back a little of our attendees for these initiatives is something that we care about, what do we want to do with our attendees at the end of the day? I will also take my leave. Meatball has to go for a walk, and I have to start polishing off of this. But Trey, congratulations!
That's the move, man. That's the move, man. I'm proud of you. I think that there is going to be 10,000 in the next hour for sure. And when you take those 10,000 attendees to the bank, tell YouTube, don't take our cash, please. This is going to a good cause. 100%, man. This is I'm taking none of this home. It's all going to the people who need it, brother.
Nice. Anything,
Got it.
anything that you need, let me know. Trey hops on the show all the time over on my channel.
I just get bored. I'm like, I gotta show some love to my boy Andrew. You know.
I love that attitude. I am gonna take my leave, and I will see you on Monday for your stream and all the other things. Let's make it a really good quadruple witching day, because this week is gonna be huge.
For now, but not forever. Peace.
Hey! Oh man. Okay. See you, brother.
There we go. Take it easy.
Oh boy. Okay.